Book 4 The Kingdom of Heaven.
Chapter 2 The Luminaries. The book of the courses of the luminaries of the heaven, the relations of each, according to the classes, the dominion and the seasons, according to the names and places of origin, and according to the months which Uriel, the holy angel, who was with me, who is the guide, showed me, and he showed me all the laws exactly as they are, and how it is with regard to all the years of the world, and unto eternity, till the new creation is accomplished, which doth till eternity. And this is the first law of the luminaries, the luminary of the luminary, the sun. The luminary, the sun has its rising in the eastern portals of the heaven, and its setting in the western portals of the heaven. And I saw 6 portals in which the sun rises, and 6 portals in which the sun sets, and the moon rises and sets in these portals, and the leaders of the stars, and those whom they lead, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and all following each other in accurately corresponding order. Also many windows to the right and left of these portals. And first there goes forth the great luminary named the sun, and his circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and he is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns to the north in order to reach the east, and is so guided that he comes to the appropriate portal and shines in the face of the heaven. In this way he rises in the first month of the great portal, which is the fourth, and in the fourth portal from which the sun rises in the first month are 12 window openings from which proceed a flame when they are opened in the season. When the sun rises in the heaven, he comes forth through that fourth portal 30 mornings in succession, and sets accurately in the fourth portal in the west of the heaven. And during this period, the day becomes daily longer and the night nightly, resorted to the 30th morning. On that day, the day is longer than the night by a ninth part, and the day a month is slightly to the parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun rises from that fourth portal and sets in the fourth and returns to the fifth portal of the east 30 mornings and rises from it and sets in the fifth portal. And then the day becomes longer by 2 parts and amounts to the 11 parts, and the night becomes shorter and amounts to 7 parts. And it returns to the east and enters into the sixth portal, and rises and sets in the sixth portal 1 and 30 mornings on account of a sign. On that day the day becomes longer than the night, and the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts. The night is shortened and becomes 6 parts. And the sun wants up to make the day shorter and the night longer, and the sun returns to the east and enters into sixth portal and rises from it and sets 30 mornings. And when 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly 1 part and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. And the sun goes forth from that sixth portal in the west, and goes to the east and rises in the fifth portal for 30 mornings, and sets in the west again in the fifth western portal. On that day, the day decreased by 2 parts and amount to the 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun goes forth from that fifth portal and sets in the fifth portal of the west, and rises in the fourth portal of 1 and 30 mornings on account of its sign, and sets in the west. On that day, the day is equalized with the night, and the night amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the sun rises from that portal and sets in the west, and returns to the east, and rises 30 mornings in the third portal, and sets in the west in the third portal. And on that day, the day becomes longer than the day, and night becomes longer than night, and day shorter than day, till the 30th morning, and the night amounts exactly to the to 10 parts, and the day to 8 parts. And the sun rises from the third portal and sets in the third portal in the west and returns to the east for 30 mornings. Rises in the second portal in the east, and in like manner sets in the second portal in the west of the heaven. And on that day the night amounts to the 11 parts, and the day to 7 parts. And the sun rises on the day from the second portal and sets in the west in the second portal, and returns to the east into first portal for 1:30 mornings, and sets in the first portal in the west of the heaven. And on that day the night becomes longer and amounts to the double of the day, and the night amounts exactly to 12 parts, and the day to 6. And the sun has traversed to the divisions of his orbit, and turns again on those divisions of his orbit, and enters that portal 30 mornings, and sets also in the west opposite to it. And on that night, as the night decreased in length by a nin part, and the night has become 11 parts, and the day 7 parts, and the sun has returned and entered into the second portal in the east, and returns on those his divisions of his orbit for 30 mornings, rising and setting. And on that day, the night decreases in length, and the night amounts to 10 parts, and the day to 8. And on that day the sun rises from that portal and sets in the west, and returns to the east, and rises in the third portal for 1:30 mornings, and sets in the west of the heaven. On that day the night decreases and amounts to the 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts, and the night is equal to day, and the year is exactly as to its day 364, and the length of the day and of the night, and the shortness of the day and of the rise, through the course of the sun, these distinctions are made. So it comes that its course becomes daily longer, and its course nightly shorter. So this the law and the course of the sun, and his return as often as he returns 60 times, and rises forever and ever. And that which rises is great luminary, and is so named according to its appearance, according as the Lord commanded. And as he rises, so he says and decreases out, and rests not, but runs day and night, and his light is sevenfold brighter that than that of the moon. As regards size, they are both equal. And after this law I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminary, which is named the moon. And her circumference is slightly the circumference of the heaven, and her chariot in which he rides is driven by the wind, and light is given to her in measure. And her rising and setting change every morning, and her days are like the days of the sun. And when her light is uniform, it amounts to the 7 part of the light of the sun. And thus she rises, and her first face in the east comes forth on the 30th morning, and on the day she becomes visible and constitutes for you the first phase of the moon on the 30th day, together with the sun is in the portal where the sun rises. And the one half of her goes forth by 7 parts, and the whole circumference is empty, without light, with the exception of 1/7 part of it, the 14th part of her light. And when she receives 1/7 part of the half her light amounts to 1/7 part and the half thereof, and she sets with the sun. And when the sun rises, the moon rises with him, and receives the half of 1 part of the light. And in that night, in the beginning of the morning, in the commencement of the lunar day, the moon sets with the sun, and is visible the night that the 14 parts and the half of one of them. And she rises on that day with exactly 7 parts, and comes forth and resets from the rising of the sun, and her remaining days she becomes bright in the 13 parts. And I saw another coast, love for her, how according to that law she performs her monthly revolution. And all this Uriel, the holy angel, who is the leader of them, sought of them all, sought to me, and their positions. And I wrote their positions as he sought them to me, and I wrote down their amounts as they were, and the appearance of their lights till 15 days were accomplished. In single 7 parts he accomplishes all her light in the east, and in single 7 parts accomplishes all her darkness in the west. And in certain months she alters her settings, and in certain months she pursues her own peculiar course. In 2 months the moon sets with the sun, and in those two middle portals, the third and the fourth, she goes forth for 7 days, and turns about and returns again through the portal where the sun rises, and accomplishes all her light, and she resists from the sun, and in 8 days enters the sixth portal from which the sun goes forth. And when the sun goes forth from the fourth portal, she goes forth 7 days, until she goes forth from the fifth and turns back again in 7 days into the fourth portal and accomplishes all her life, and she retreats and enters into the first portal in 8 days. And she returns again in 7 days into the fourth portal from which the sun goes forth. Thus I saw the position how the moon rose and the sun sets in those days. And if 5 days are added together, the sun has over plus of 30 days, and all the days which accrue to it for one of those 5 days, they are full amount to 364 days. And the overplus of the sun and of the stars amount to 6 days in 5 years, 6 days. Every year comes to 30 days, and the moon falls behind the sun and stars to the number of 30 days. And the sun and the stars spring in all the years exactly, so that they do not advance or delay their position by single day unto eternity, but complete the years with perfect justice in 364 days. In 3 years there are 1092 days, and in years 1820 days, so that in 8 years there are 2912 days. Furthermore, alone the days amount in 3 years to 1062 days, and in 5 years he falls 50 days behind the sum. There is 5 to be added, 62 days. And in 5 years there are 1770 days, so that for the moon the days 6 in 8 years amount is 21,832 days. For in 8 years she falls behind to the sun amount of 80 days, all the 70 days, all the 17 days. She falls behind 8 years are 80. And the year is accurately complete in conformity with the world stations and the stations of the sun, which rise from the portals through which it rises sets 30 days, and the leaders of the heads of the 10,000s, who are placed over the whole creation and over all the stars, have also to do with the 4 intercalary days, being inseparable from the office according to the reckoning of the year, and this rather service of the hour on the work days, which are not recorded in the reckoning of the year. And owing to them, men go wrong therein, for those luminaries truly render service on the world stations, one in the first portal, one in the third portal of the heaven, one the fourth portal, and one the sixth portal, and the exactness of the year is accomplished through its separate 364 stations. For the signs and the times, the year and the days, the angel Uriel showed to me, whom the Lord of glory had set forever over all the luminaries of the heaven, in the heaven and in the world, in the heaven and in the world, that they should rule on the face of the heaven and be seen on the earth and be leaders for the days and the night, and all the ministering creatures which make the revolution in all the chariots of the heaven. In like manner, 12 dogs Uriel showed me open in the circumference of the sun's chariot in the heaven, to which the rays of the sun break forth, and from them is swarm diffused over the earth, and when they are open at the appointed seasons, and for the winds and the spirit of the dew, when they are open, standing open in the heavens at the ends, as for 12 portals in the heaven, at the end of the earth, out of which go forth the sun, moon, and stars, and all the works of heaven in the east and in the west. There are many windows open to the left and right of them, and one window is as its season produces warmth, corresponding to those doors, from which the stars come forth according as he has commanded them, and wherein they sit corresponding to their number. And I saw chariots in the heaven, running in the world above these portals, in which revolve the stars that never set, and one is larger than all the rest, and it is that makes its course through the entire world. And at the ends of the earth I saw 12 portals open to all the quarters, from which the windows go forth and blow over the earth. 3 of them are open to the face of the heaven, and 3 in the west, and 3 on the right of the heaven, and 3 on the left. And the 3 first are those of the east, and 3 are of the earth, and 3 are of the north, and 3 are those on the left of the south, and 3 of the west. Through 4 of these come through through 4 these come winds of blessing and prosperity, and from those a come hurtful winds. When they are set, they bring destruction on all the earth, and on the water upon it, and on all who dwell thereon, and on everything which is in water, and on the land. And the first wind from those portals, called the east wind, comes forth through the first portal which is in the east, inclining towards the south. From it come forth desolation, no heat, and destruction. And through the second portal in the middle comes what is waiting, and from it there come rain and fruitfulness and prosperity and dew. And through the third portal which lies toward the north come cold and drought. And after this come forth the soul winds through the portals. Through the first portal of them inclined to the east comes forth a hot wind. And through the middle portal next to it there come forth fragrant smells, and dew, and rain, and prosperity, and health. And through the third portal lying to the west come forth the dew and rain, locusts, and desolation. And after this the north winds. From the seventh portal in the east come dew and rain, locusts, and desolation. And from the middle portal come in direction destruction, come in a direct direction health and rain, and dew and prosperity. And through the third portal in the west come cloud and hoar frost, and snow and rain, and dew and locusts. And after these 4 the west winds through the first portal, joining the north, come forth dew and hoar frost, and cold and snow and frost. And from the middle portal come forth dew and rain, and prosperity and blessing. And through the last portal which adjoins the south come forth drought and desolation, and burning and destruction. And the 12 portals of the four quarters of the heaven are therewith completed, and all the laws, and all the plagues, and all the benefactions have I sown to thee, my son Methuselah. And the first quarter is called the east because it is the first, and the second the south, because the Most High will descend there. Here, there in quite a special sense will he who is blessed forever descend. And the west quarter is named the diminished because there there all the luminaries of the heaven went and go down. And the fourth quarter, named the north, is divided into three parts. The first of them is for the dwelling of man, and the second contains seas of water, and the abysses, and forests, and rivers, and the mountains and clouds, and the third part contains the garden of righteousness. I saw 7 high mountains, higher than all the mountains which are on the earth, and thence comes forth her force, and days, seasons, and years pass away. I saw 7 rivers on the earth larger than all the rivers, one of them coming from the west pours its waters into the great sea, and these two come from the north to the sea, and pour their waters into the Erythraean Sea in the east, and the remaining four come forth on the side of north to their own sea, 2 of them to the Erythraean Sea, and 2 into the great sea, and discharge themselves there, and some say into the desert. 7 great islands I saw in the sea and in the mainland, 2 in the mainland, and 5 in the great sea. And the names of the sun are the following: the first Jares, and the second Thomas. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Asonja, the second Ebla, the third Benase, the fourth Erai. These are the 2 great luminaries. The circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike. In the circumference of the sun there are 7 portions of light, which are added to it more than to the moon. In indefinite measures it is transversed till the 7 star portion of the sun is exhausted. And they set and enter the portals of the west, and make the revolution by the north, and come forth through the eastern portals of the face of the heaven. And when the moon rises, 1/14 part appears in the heaven, the light becomes full in her. On the 14th day she accomplishes her light, and 15 parts of light are transferred to her ill, till the 15th day her light is accomplished according to the sign of the year, and she becomes 15 parts, and the moon grows by 14 parts, and in her warning decreases on the first day to the 14 parts of her light, on the second to 13 parts of light, and on the third to 12, on the fourth to 11, on the fifth to 10, on the sixth to 9, on the seventh to 8, on the eighth to 7, on the ninth to 6, on the 10th to 5, on the 11th to 4, on the 12th to 3, and on the 13th to 2, on the 14th to the half of a seventh, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th. In the certain months, and in a certain month, the month has 29 days, and once 28. And Uriel showed me another globe, when light is transferred to the moon, and on which side it is transferred to her by the sun. During all the period during which the moon is going in her light, she is transferring it to herself when opposite to the sun. During 14 days her light is accomplished in the heaven, and when she is illumined throughout, her light is accomplished full in the heaven. And on the first day she is called the new moon, for on that day the light rises up upon her. She becomes full moon exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises at night. And the moon shines the whole night through till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun. And on the side whence the light of the moon comes forth, there again she wanes till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at end, and her circumference is empty, void of light. And 3 months she makes of 30 days, and at her time she makes 3 months out of 29 days each, in which she accomplishes her wedding in the first period of time, and in the first portal for 177 days, and in the time of her going out she appears for 3 months 30 days each, and for 3 months she appears 29 each. At night she appears like a man for 20 days each time, and by day she appears like the heaven, and there is nothing else in her save her light. And now, my son, I have shown thee everything, and the law of all the stars of the heaven is completed. And he showed me all the laws of this for every day, and for every season of very rule, and for each every year, and for its going forth, and for the order prescribed to it every month and every week, and the warning of the moon which takes place in the sixth portal. For in this first portal her light is accomplished, and after that there is the beginning of the wedding which takes place in the first portal in this season, till 177 times are accomplished, record according to weeks, 25 and 2 days. She falls behind the sun, and the order of the stars is 35 days in the course of one period, and when this place which those seas has been transferred. Such is the picture and sketch of every luminary which Uriel the archangel, who is the leader, showed unto me.